Guys, I thought I was only going to do one video, but then it popped into my head, like during this quarantine, I watched an old Lifetime movie called what was it? The Cleveland Abduction, a Lifetime movie about what was his name? Ariel Castro, who abducted the three girls for 10 years and kept them in his house. That movie was crazy. You guys, so yeah, I'm sipping wine today. So we're gonna sip and talk about this movie. Um, so the movie, excuse me, the movie is based around Michelle Knight. Sorry, I'm just going off the top of my head. I didn't write down anything. Um, she has her little 4-year-old Joey, and she's staying with her mom. Her mom and her boyfriend. Her mom's boyfriend, not her boyfriend. And it seems like the boyfriend is abusing the little boy. So when she took him to the hospital one day, CPS got involved and they took him. And so in taking him, she had a court date to possibly get him back because she had moved out of her mom's house in with her cousin. And so in doing that, let me turn this off because my TV is distracting me. In doing that, what was I saying? She got her, well, she was going to get her son back. And so she was telling her friend, I forgot the daughter's name, but her last name was Castro. So she was telling her about it. And her dad, Castro, the daughter, her dad comes to pick her up one day. And so she sees him in passing, but she doesn't really pay attention to the dad. And so the day of her court date, she is getting dressed and her mom calls her. I was going to say she called her mom, but her mom calls her and tells her she's not going to be able to make it. Or I think they were supposed to have go out to eat before, but the mom was like, she's not going to be able to make it. So Michelle's like, forget it, I'll find a way there myself. And she was like, it's only 11 o'clock, you have till 2. And so I guess she just told her mom, forget it, I'll find my own way there. And they have a rocky relationship, because I forgot to mention in the beginning of the movie, Michelle was going to a job interview and asked her mom to watch Joey. And so she's like, please don't let him if he goes outside, please keep an eye on him. And she was like, I raised you, didn't I? She was like, do you really want to get into that right now? And you know how that goes. I want to do this review with these glasses. I love these glasses, y'all. If y'all haven't, please go check out my review about my LASIK surgery and my glasses. I am in love with these glasses. So yeah, you could tell their relationship is rocky or whatever. So anyway, back to you can see my never mind. What was it? So back to the day of the court date. So she breaks out walking, but in her walking, she don't know where she going. So it's just like, girl, how you trying to be sassy and tell your mama forget taking you to the courthouse and you don't know how to get there? So within her walking, we see her looking scared of the neighborhood, whatever. And excuse me, she stops into a store and was she names off the address and she's like, do you know how to get there? And the cashier is like, I'm sorry, I don't. In comes Ariel Castro, and he's like, if you're trying to walk there, it'll be another 45 minutes. And she's like, I only have 30 to make it to my court hearing. And basically telling this man too much information, because she's like, they took Joey and I'm trying to get him back, but if I make it and they can see that I have a good living, and it's like, whoa, why are you telling this man all this information? Just say, can you help me get there? Or help me, tell me where to go. But and he's just like, I could take you there and get you there with no problem. And she's like, really? He's like, yeah, no problem. So it's just because she did recognize him. She's like, you're such and such dad. And he's like, yeah. So she feels like she can trust him. So she gets into the car. But as soon as she got into the car, he's like, my dog just had puppies, and your little boy, does he like dogs? He can have one. And she's like, really? Thank you. And he's like, do you want to go see him? And she's like, no, I need to get to the courthouse. And he's like, it'll be quick. I'll have you back in no time, you'll be there in plenty of time. I'm just gonna take you to see the dogs. And me, red flag. Because I'm like, okay, you off. I probably wouldn't have never got in the car with him in the first place. But it's like, you offered to take me somewhere and you done already told the man your business. So it's just like, how crucial it is for me to get there. Either take me there or I'm getting out of this car right now. But she's like, yeah, sure. No problem. So when they pull up to his house, it's just his dog. So she's like, where are the puppies? And she's like, he says, sometimes even a dog mommy needs to get away from their pups or something like that. Red flag number 2. So then they go in the house and he's like, oh yeah, they're just right up here. You should come right up here. And it's just like, danger, Molly, danger. Get out of there. But no, she continues to follow him. And he takes her upstairs into a room and locks the door. So then she's just like, no, please let me out. Please let me out. He hits her and ties her up with an extension, like those bright red long extension cords. He hits her and ties her up with one of those. And so she's crying and warning, if you're triggered by rape, he rapes her. And it was intense. It was just like, oh my God. And so it was weird because it was not weird, but it was just sad because it was like she realized what was happening and she wasn't saying anything to him and he was trying to make her talk. And so then he takes her from upstairs to downstairs in the basement where there's just like a lot of clothes laying around and for some reason a mattress. And so he has a chain down there and he ties her up to that chain and he rapes her again. And it's just like, then he tries to make her feel bad for him and he's like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do this, but I was raped by somebody who was supposed to take care of me. And it's like, time out. What do you mean? And it's like, is that supposed to make what you're doing to me okay? The fact that somebody did it to you? You should want to break the cycle. So it sounded like, I want to say maybe an uncle or a grandparent, maybe even a close friend. I'm not going to blame nobody in the family. But he did say somebody that was supposed to be taking care of him. And I'm assuming that this movie is based off of the book that Michelle Knight wrote. And so it's like he has her by herself for some time. They don't specify months, time, like year. They don't specify. It's just like, is him abusing her for a while and then he brings in Amanda. Amanda's next. And he's like, I thought you could use some company. And so it's just like, no, you should let her go. But Amanda is much younger. I think I can't remember right off the top of my head. But if I can remember correctly, I think because the backlight of my laptop is helping me out. Amanda was 16 going on 17. Or no, I think Amanda was 14 going on 15. Either way, it was like she was really young. Because he was upset with how old that Michelle was. Because he found out that she was 21. Yeah, because when he raped her the first time, he pulled out her ID and was like, how old are you? And she was like, I'm 21. And he was like, ugh, I thought you were 15. And it's just like, he has this gun the whole time. And that was kind of the thing that kept them in line. He kept threatening to shoot them, but he never actually did. But he would abuse them and rape them. But he had two bedrooms connected by one door. So when he brought in Amanda, he moved Michelle to that other bedroom and moved Amanda to that next room. And he told them, like no talking to each other or anything like that. They're just basically there for his sick entertainment. And Michelle, she tried to talk to Amanda anyway, like, it's two of us now. We can overpower him and get him to let us out of here. And she's like, he said don't talk. She's younger, so she's very scared. I want to believe that she was the 14-year-old, and she's just like, no, please don't talk. Don't say anything. Do to make him come back in here. Just don't talk. And so one night, the police showed up to the house next door. So Michelle thought they were there, to rescue them. So she's telling her, like, Amanda, do you hear that? Listen. But he had boarded up the window, so you couldn't see out. You couldn't bang on it. And at the time, how could I forget that? When it was Michelle by herself, one day his kids came over to his house. I guess it was just like a random summer day or something like that, and they were just over there hanging out. And she hears them downstairs, and so there was a headboard on the mattress, because he didn't have any sheets. It was just the mattress and a headboard. So she starts banging the headboard up against the wall, and his kids are like, what's that? And he's like, I locked the dog upstairs, don't worry about it. And then he turns on the radio and turns it up really loud, but you can still hear the banging. So he's like, you know what? Let's go eat outside, don't worry about it. And then he goes back up there and he abuses her, because it's just like, you don't know when to quit. And it's just like, I couldn't help but think, it's like, where was the dog? Was the dog locked up upstairs? Because if that dog was outside, I would have questioned my dad, like, no, what is that noise? Because it's pretty loud and it's like banging up against the wall. So then at some point, Michelle starts getting a little bit bigger around the waist, and she realizes that he's gotten her pregnant, and she doesn't say anything, but I guess he realizes it. One day he comes in there to rape her, and he's like, why are you only getting fat around the stomach? And I don't know if this was just for movie effect or if this was something he really said to her in real life. Like, did the idiot go and get herself pregnant? And it's like, first of all, you are raping her against her will. And if you're doing it without a condom, you're the idiot that got her pregnant. How can she get herself pregnant? I'm like, she's not willingly having sex with you, and I'm pretty sure she didn't want a baby with you. But in that very next, it was so hard to watch. Again, this may be a trigger warning for y'all, so just prepare yourself. He comes back in with a dumbbell. I don't know what size the gray one is, but a big gray dumbbell, and he rams it into her stomach. And he's like, the next time I come back in here, that better be gone. And of course, she like puts her hand to her stomach, and I'm pretty sure it went down, into her panties, and it's covered in blood. So of course he made her lose the baby. So as time goes on again, and then he brings her downstairs, and now he has kidnapped Gina. I think her name is Georgiana or Georgina. I'm pretty sure Georgina makes more sense. Georgina. And so now it's all three of them, and he makes Georgina, I'm gonna just call it Gina cut their hair. So now they all have like military, or I want to say like boy haircuts, and it just continues. And it's just like, I think Amanda's mom was looking for her, and Gina's family was also looking for her, and he told Michelle, like, see, this is why I don't like you, and I wish I never would have took you. There's nobody looking for you. Nobody cares about you. They just think you ran away. And it's just like, it was kind of messed up, because as 21 years old, nobody was looking for her. And she had that strained relationship with her mom, so it's just like her mom wasn't looking for her either. So it's just like, yeah, she was 21, kind of, in the wind. And so, in the process, Amanda's mom dies. They think it was something to do with her heart, whatever the technical term is. I think she had a stroke and something else, but it was just like, they really think she died of a broken heart of not being able to find her daughter. And it was just like, that whole time her bedroom was never touched. Everything was left for her. So it's just like really heartbreaking, because it's like you could hear her, Gina and Michelle were in a room together and Amanda was by herself. So my opinion, oh excuse me, my opinion, Amanda might have been his favorite out of the three girls. I think she was his favorite, and there's a reason for that too. I'm gonna bring that up in a minute. But he probably made all three of them do it, but just in the movie, it just shows him making Gina and Michelle perform acts on each other to entertain him, because it's like he would bust in the room like, I'm bored, put on a show. And it was like they were getting close together, like in that room. And Michelle, she would keep, like, she would put a number on the wall each year for how old Joey was turning. And then it was just like at one point he made them all come downstairs and was like, you know, I got an announcement and this is good for everybody. And at one point he had them all chained up, but when they had the announcement, they weren't chained up anymore. Amanda was pregnant. Sorry, Amanda was pregnant, and after that, no more chains. So it's like they could walk around freely, because I guess with the baby being there, you can't explain why they're all chained up and treated that way. But so she had a little girl. Amanda had a baby girl. It was a home birth, of course, and they all stayed together till the baby was about 4. I can't remember her name. But yeah, till she was 4. And then one day he goes to his mom's house to get food, because they didn't say this in the movie, but I did a quick search and I put on Wikipedia, so I don't know how true this is, but he was a bus driver and he had a really good job, but he lost his job due to being a alcoholic. And so the house that he owned and kept them in, it went into foreclosure because he couldn't afford the payments. so then it was just a random day. It's like he went to his mom's house to go get food, because I guess with him not having no job, he couldn't afford any food, and he leaves the door open. So of course they think it's the little girl gets her mom, which is Amanda, and like, mommy, why did daddy leave the door open? And so of course she's checking, like, I don't know, maybe he's still outside, thinking it's a joke, because he done that before. That was like early in the movie, so I forgot. He left the door. He gave Michelle, sorry, because it's like random things are popping up to me at one time. He gave Michelle a puppy. Like, he actually brought in a puppy for her. So when one day he left the door unlocked, she grabs the puppy and like slowly makes her way downstairs, and it's like it's dark, so she can't really see. And next thing you know, he pops up like, do you really think I'm that stupid? And he takes the puppy and snaps the puppy's neck and like beats her and takes her back upstairs. That was so sad, because that puppy was like really all she had keeping her sane, because she was taking care of the puppy, but it was just like after that she had nothing. And so anyway, so she thought it was a joke. I mean, not a joke, but a trick. And so she's looking out the door and his car's gone. He's nowhere to be found. But he had a lock up on the screen door. So even though the front door was open, the screen door was locked. And so she's banging on the screen door like, help, hey, help. And so one of the neighbors, a black lady, she runs over. She's like, Amanda? Okay, sorry, I had to chop part of the video off because my niece started banging on my door like a crazy person. And so one of the neighbors, she's like, Amanda, you're supposed to be dead. And I'd have been like, lady, you see, obviously I'm not dead. Help me out. And so two more neighbors come over and they kick out the bottom of the screen, and the little baby climbs out and Amanda climbs out. And upstairs is Michelle and Gina, like they're dancing, they have music playing, and they can hear like the commotion downstairs. And Michelle makes Gina hide and like lay down on the floor, and she puts a cover over her and say, don't come out until I tell you to. And so then she goes out into the first room that she used to stay in, that Amanda like stays in by herself, well, with the baby, and she's hiding behind like a rack of clothes. And the police come in like, hello, is anybody else here? We're the police. And so they flash the flashlight over in her direction, and she's like, police, like this isn't a joke, like they finally found us after all these years. And she just starts hugging both of them. And when she sees it was a woman police officer and then a male police officer. I want to believe that the woman police officer was Hispanic, and then it was a black guy, the other cop, because she looked at Gina, and I forgot Gina's last name. Is spelled Dejesus, and I forgot how to pronounce it. And she was like, I've been looking for you for 9 years. And like she gives her a hug, like the cop gives Gina a hug. And it's like, wow. And so they the guy radios in like, we found, like he couldn't disbelieve, you know what I mean? Like, we found them. We really found them. And so now it's like the story is back focusing on Michelle. Sorry. So she's in the hospital getting checked out. A lot of people send her gifts and flowers and teddy bears and stuff, because in her hospital room there's like a whole wall just full of gifts. And for some random reason, Pam Grier is her nurse with a terrible wig. Like, that wig is so tacky. It was like a 27 piece. It's gray right here. The rest is black. It's like, why? Pam Grier has naturally beautiful hair. Why they just couldn't have her wear her own hair? I'm sorry. I hate unnecessary wigs. Get on my nerves. Because if people have a nice grade of hair, like their natural hair, just let them wear that. Like, back to the white lady in Ambitions, Essence Atkins boss, whatever her name is. That terrible wig that white lady has no business wearing. Because you can't tell me that that's not a wig. Her natural hair do not lay like that. That ain't even this. Anyway, so yeah, Pam Grier just plays a short part of being her nurse with a terrible wig. And Byron, aka Papa Pope, is an FBI agent in this movie, and he's like, I have some questions to ask you, like, what can you tell me? And she's like, I want to see my son. All I care about right now is my son. And yeah, it was 10 years, because because she posted numbers, I think I said that already, on the wall of every year that Joey was turning, and the last one was 14, so it's like 4 from 14 is 10 years. And so he's like, sure, I'll get right on that. And lo and behold, since she didn't show up to the court hearing, Joey was adopted. And I think because they said he's been adopted since he was 4. So the whole time, that made me sad. Like, I didn't cry, but it did make me sad, because it's just like, that's all she held on to, was knowing that her son was out there. So it's just like, as soon as she got free, that's all she cared about and all she wanted to see. And she's like, where's my son? But the adopted family said, no ma'am, like, we have him, he's good, he doesn't know anything about this, like, I guess I could say, like, he don't remember her, or don't or they might have told him, she passed. It was something, but it was just like, the family was like, we do not want to traumatize him, and we will not have him associated with her. So no, She cannot contact him. She cannot speak to him. No. And she even asked for a picture. They said no to that. Like, no contact whatsoever. Like, you cannot see him. No. So basically, like, you, Castro made you look like miscarry a baby, and you might as well say that this baby doesn't exist either, because nothing. And so, um, let's see. Again, I don't get, because they didn't, like, in the movie, they don't show when he gets captured. Um, they don't talk, well, they do talk about it in the end. I take that back, because it's like, you know, at the end where they do the words across the screen, which can, sidebar, can I say that I hate that? Because sometimes I'm not always looking at the screen, and that makes for a better movie for you to have that in there. So it's like, if I'm not looking up, why are you just writing what happens at the end? Like, no, put that in there, because it's a show on ID. I forgot what it's called, but that's like half the show. It's like, if you're not looking up at the screen because all you hear is the music, it's them like writing words, and then they go to like the next thing. It's like, in this day and age, people are not always looking at the screen. They're looking down at their phone, but they're listening to the TV, but they're not looking at it because they're like looking at their phone. So it's like, that irritated me. But anyway, they demolished that house after they found the girls. They don't say, or they don't show what happens to Amanda and the baby girl, because they do show a scene where Michelle and Gina like link up, and Gina said her family told her, because I think she got in therapy, and it's like everybody told her she needs to put this behind her, like, don't have anything associated with this. So although y'all have to be kidding. I don't even know if y'all can hear that, but it's just so, like, my niece is getting on my last nerve. So like, Michelle is basically all alone. Like, everything that she's trying to cling on to is like being taken away from her. And so they demolished the house, and that was basically the end. The words across the screen is that she went on, like, she wrote a book about what happened to her that went on to be a #1 bestseller and helped other people. And then she went on to culinary school, and yeah, it really don't say what happened to Amanda and Gina, because I think at that time they were still technically not adults. Wait, that's not true. They would have been 24. She would have been 30. That's not true. Look, let me do math. That's not true. But yeah, basically it didn't say what happened to them. This was basically like Michelle's story. So he got 100 years. No, I think so. No, he got life. Sorry, he got life plus 1,000 years. That's what it was. And I think like after a few months of him being in jail, he hung himself in his cell. Now, the thing I did criticize Lifetime with, when they did the words across the screen, it said he hanged himself. I'm just like, that's not the correct grammar in this situation, because you can't say he was hanged, but he hung himself, not he hanged himself. Anyway, that's it. I think, yeah, it was just a really like tough story to watch, because it's just like, really, having 10 years in your town, in your neighborhood, and nobody knows that you're there, because he kept y'all locked up, boarded up all the windows, and anytime they attempted to make a sound, all he did was turn up the music. And it's like, also, a neighbor tried to complain about the music being loud at one point, but the cops, it was a white cop, and he didn't go over there, because he was like, which house? And she was like, I think it's that one. And he was like, well, can you make sure next time before you try to make a complaint about a house, make sure you know which one it is before we have to come out here. have a good night. And it was like he thought about it and realized how rude he was being and was like, have a good night. But it's like, no, you were already rude. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna try to get back into the swing of making more videos, but nobody watches it anyway. Anyway, peace out.